life back to. If you're feeling overwhelmed, out of control, you don't have to go through this alone. Trust Sante Center. A counselor is available anytime by phone and at santecenter.com.
At Reliant Air Conditioning, they provide comfort to homeowners who don't want to be taken advantage of by shady companies. AC sales and service. Gimmick free since '83. Call 877-YOUR-HERO or schedule your free appointment online at ReliantAirConditioning.com.
Undisclosed location in the kingdom of Plain Night, this is Junior at Coast to Coast, America's most provocative and least listened to radio program. Be warned, this is the radio show the government doesn't want you to hear. And now, here's the provocative and popular Junior Miller.
Well, we've made it through 15 minutes of the program here at this weirdo, wacko hour of 4 a.m. I think we're so early the government isn't up. Yeah, they sleep too. Last 4 times we've done this program, they shut us down. But I don't see any signs. Now, I do have my coast-to-coast security team who's formed a perimeter around our broadcast location to make sure we're on the air for you as long as possible. We'll talk about the latest UFO sightings and Bigfoot sightings, and if you have any thoughts, any stories you want to share, we're going to go to the phones now. And we're going to start east of the Rockies. Hi, you're on Coast to Coast. How are you?
Junior?
Good morning.
Junior, do you hear me?
I hear you. Do you have me?
Oh, yes. Junior, I am freaking out right now. I have stayed up all night. And I don't live on a busy street, but I've noticed red, white, and blue lights roaming around my street and stopping at my house. Now, I'm in my bunker. I brought 2 jars of urine just in case.
Good.
And I'm hearing the static of walkie-talkies. Now, I've only told my friends and family where I am and what I'm doing, and I'm staying up all night. Listening to my favorite, Craig Jr. June Miller, the One True User. But I know the government tracked my phone, so I'm wondering, what do I do? What's my next move?
Well, let's think about this, because the red and blue lights could be 3 things. 1 could be a police car or 2. 2 could be a UFO. Some of those that have traveled between solar systems have been known to flash red and blue lights. Or 3, you could have a glitch in your simulation. Do any of those sound like they could be possible?
We just walked the new Matrix. Just what? Could that be a sign?
If it is a police car or 2, I would suggest that you surrender yourself. If it is a UFO, I would suggest that you really surrender yourself. Whatever they want to do to you, let them do. They're not interested in killing us, because if they were, they would have done that by now. They're interested in learning from us and about us. So they want to probe you, you let them probe you over and over and over and over again. And if it's a glitch in your simulation, there's not a whole lot you can do about that. You just got to ride it out. Happens to me all the time.
No information to the government, all the information to our alien overlords.
That is exactly right. And that's where I think a lot of people in society today get messed up. The misdirect is, oh, it's our government here on Earth. We see on the news every day making laws for us. That's who we have to surrender all of this information to. It's just the opposite. The true brilliance is not here on Earth, except for our listeners of Coast to Coast. The true brilliance, as I've found through 14 abductions, and as most people have found, they've had contact, is elsewhere in the universe, other planets, these extraterrestrials who are visiting us. We're learning so much more from them, and we're learning things that can that can save us. Thank you for your call, and let us know down the road how that turned out. All right, let's try the wild card line. You're on Coast to Coast. Good evening.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Greg,
Yes.
are you there?
You have me. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hey, this is Chaz from Midlothian, but I'm actually from Lancaster. And I grew up...
Wait a minute. Does that mean you're time traveling?
Yes.
Fascinating.
I was there when you were there. And, of course, we have the story of the Spider Lady.
Oh, yes. Out on Old Beltline Road.
Yeah, at the cemetery.
Yep.
And well, that was my mom.
Oh, hold on. I just got chills. Your mom was the Spider Lady.
Yes. I know it's frightening and surprising, but it's really amazing.
Do you still have contact with her from the beyond, and has she ever told you why she chose to become the Spider Lady after death?
I still have contact. She said she was going to contact me on Mother's Day. And we've never really spoken about it because it's kind of like a, hush-hush thing. And, but I will ask her Sunday when she talks to me in my sleep.
Maybe this is the Mother's Day that you ask her. Maybe because forces have aligned, allowing us to broadcast tonight and allowing you to share this information. Maybe that is a sign from the cosmos that this is the Mother's Day that you communicate with her, that you ask her why. Why the Spider Lady? You're famous, you're infamous in Lancaster, the cemetery on Old Beltline. And she's been haunting that place for a long time. Does that mean she's restless? Is she trying to tell us something? If you could get any of that information out of her and share it with us on the next Coast to Coast. I know this is hard for you to talk about, and I know you'll be very nervous on Saturday night, going to sleep before Mother's Day, but if you can just know that all of us are counting on you, I think that'll give you the courage to get through it.
Well, I just hope it's not the Mother's Day massacre.
Amen, brother. Amen to that.
By the way, Bigfoot, his name is Daryl.
Well, and thank you for your call. I have heard that, but we need to know that there are many, many, many more than just one Bigfoot. There are lots of big feets, Bigfoots, Bigfoot creatures. There are a lot of them. I experienced that, as I told you in the opening segment, firsthand with my recent alien abduction. There's no doubt in my mind that on this planet we are talking about hundreds, if not thousands, of Bigfoot creatures, and universe-wide, your guess is as good as mine. I would put the number certainly in the billions. That's an educated guess, but I can't really refine the number any more than that because we just don't know. And like I said with my abduction a few weeks ago, I'm not even sure those were 14 Bigfoot creatures from the rest of the universe. I start to believe now, the more I think about it and piece it together, that they were from here, posing as Bigfoot creatures from another solar system, another planet. They're everywhere, a lot more than people think. Let's just put it that way. All right, let's go west of the Rockies. You're on Coast to Coast.
Good morning, James.
How are you?
Good morning, James. I'm very well. Thank you for taking my call, and thank you for your courage.
thank you for having the courage to call.
Yes, I sit here alone in the dark, trying not to wake up my wife because she does not approve of being woken up at 4 a.m. by the alarm. But I won't let this stop me from telling you this story that's very deep and personal to me, James. And it involves you, and it involves time travel and astral projection, I believe. I live in West Texas, and Marconi conspires to not let me hear your natural signal, so I have to listen through the miracle of the internet. And one night, about 10 years ago, on this very weekend of the Campound and Coast to Coast, I came home from, oh God, just give me chills thinking about this. I came home from the watering hole, and I was listening to you talk about time travel, and I was just deeply enthralled, and the world was spinning a little bit, and I'm not sure if it was nerves talking about such a courageous subject, or just being stimulated by the conversation, or if it was perhaps something that someone had fed me at the watering hole. But at any rate, I started to hear portions of what you had said again. Your words were repeating. I didn't understand it, and it was like time was jumping. And I had to turn off this alarm that I set to hear your message. But anyway, I was hearing the same words over and over again, and it was like time was jumping, and it was I had a very, very sublime experience that was very real in time travel.
Do you remember what words you were hearing over and over specifically?
No, it was a story that one of your brave listeners was telling. And it was a story that had a lot of parts to it, and in fact maybe one or two stories. And what was happening was I was hearing first the end of a story, and then the beginning of a story, and I was in a trance, perhaps alcohol infused, but I was in a trance, and was shocked to realize that this time travel was something I had in my own hands. In fact, my sweaty back was touching the very portal to the ticket's voice, and just jumping the time around, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I don't care if I have an explanation. It was such a surreal time travel experience at that moment that I have been waiting 10 years to tell you this story, James.
I just got chills. That is amazing. And I'd like to say a couple of things about this incredible tale. Number one, a lot of people will say, well, I had something to drink, I was under the influence of this, I consumed an edible. That does not mean that what you experienced didn't happen. The contrary.
You understand.
You're in a lot of studies of hallucinogenics, that takes you to a place mentally and cosmically where you are open to time travel, where you are open to communication with the supernatural. You are open to different dimensions. So don't let anyone ever tell you that, oh, you were drunk. It's the opposite. You were enlightened and you were able to experience that.
Oh, you lifted a burden from my shoulders.
Godspeed. Thank you for sharing that tale with us. We appreciate that. All right, we have more calls to take. We have late breaking news on consuming your own urine. And we'll do all of that when Coast to Coast continues. Keep looking over your shoulder.
The stigma around asking for help is gone. 2 years of the pandemic have left many feeling lonely, uncertain, anxious, and overwhelmed. Many have turned to drugs and alcohol for relief and have developed a substance use disorder. But at Inner Health, we don't just treat the disorder. We treat the